Rika Orimoto. She is known as the Queen of Curses in Jujutsu Kaisen. She became a cursed spirit after death when her childhood friend Yuta Okatsu cursed her by mistake after she died.
I didn't mean to hit her.
Before her death, Rika loved Yuta a lot, so much that it bothered on obsession. After her demise, which was tragic and sudden, those lingering emotions evolved into a dark energy that surrounded Yuta protectively and obsessively. By the way, we post 2 videos weekly explaining different animes in minutes. If you would like to support the channel, then consider subscribing. Anyways, back to the video. Her powers support Yuta, who becomes a sorcerer, granting him unprecedented powers for some time. Yuta is able to get away with so much, thanks to Rika's obsessive protection and love. As a cursed spirit, she takes the shape of a large humanoid with a shadow-like tail. She has one eye hidden behind a brain-looking shell. She can also employ a dangerous and unmatched blast energy of wind that clears and explodes everything in its path. Finally, she can use a cursed speech technique that allows her to pronounce death and compulsion on her victim. She loses her cursed abilities after the battle with Suguru-Geto. Naoya Zenin. As a human, Naoya was the head of the Hei unit of Jujutsu sorcerers. He believed he was the rightful heir to the Zenin clan, and fought everyone who stood a chance to take it from him, including Maki, who ended up defeating him. Naoya was a haughty and arrogant human, so when he died he became a vengeful spirit with the sole aim to kill Maki. As a cursed womb, Naoya took the form of a worm with human hands. When he evolved into a vengeful spirit, he had a skull-like face with long tendrils that formed his body and limbs. As a human, Naoya was a special grade 1 sorcerer of the Zenin clan. He was excellent in combat, speed, and intellect. He was highly intelligent and knew of all techniques. As a cursed spirit, he was no different, only more powerful. He still retained his innate technique, which is projection sorcery. He had the ability to turn 1 second into 24 frames and trace a predetermined set of movements using his field of view as the angle of view. He could also draw in air with his body through the inlets while he flew around and used thrusting pressure and cursed energy to eject that air for increased propulsion. In the end, he is eventually killed by Maki again. Kuchisake-Onna. She is a cursed spirit who attacks her victims based on their response to her question. Onna would draw her victims into her domain, which is a tunnel-like hall where Onna and her victim enter a non-violent vow until her question is answered. She is summoned by Suguru-Geto in his battle with Toji. Using her simple domain skill, she pulls Toji, the sorcerer killer, into the tunnel-like hall and binds him with the vow. Then she asks him if he considers her pretty. Toji says she's not his type, and that gets her annoyed. She released him from the domain and conjured thousands of scissors to tear him up, but he defeated all of them easily. Onna looks like a slim woman with disheveled hair covering her face, and she has a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth. In the end, she and Suguru-Geto are defeated by Toji. Imagine vengeful cursed spirits. These cursed spirits are formed from emotional and supernatural relations between humans. They are quite potent and have special grade powers. They pose a significant threat to humans and can only be killed with Jujutsu. They are also very intelligent and have the power to evolve on their own into other shapes and forms. They include Mahito. This special grade cursed spirit evolved from human-shared negative emotions. The most common emotion he rises from is hatred. When humans express deep hatred for one another, Mahito evolves. He is sly, cunning, and theoretical. He spends a lot of time musing on the nature of the human soul. His strengths include the ability to heal, kill, and transform his victims into distorted, monstrous forms. He suffers significant setbacks in his battle with Yuji Itadori and Aoi Todo, and is eventually killed by Pseudo-Geto through the use of Suguru-Geto's cursed spirit manipulation technique to seal and absorb him. Jogo. While Mahito is formed from humans' hatred for each other, Jogo is formed from humans' fear of volcanic eruptions and other disasters caused by fire. Fear and hatred are potent emotions that can evolve into destructive vices that can wreck and end societies. Jogo wields innate abilities, which is a special ability, but his downfall is delivered in the same element that symbolizes his power. He can conjure his domain, which is the volcano, and cause a wreck with it. Jogo has the head of a volcano, pale gray skin that turns brownish at the volcanic opening, a single eye, and 2 ear-like openings. He is a special grade cursed spirit, but his abilities are no match for Ryomen Sukuna, who kills him from inside by setting him up in flames in the Shibuya incident arc. Hanami. Hanami is a savage spirit who is suspicious of human activities on Earth. Hanami is convinced they need to rid the world of humans because they only bring harm to Earth. Hanami takes the form of a large humanoid with a helmet for a head and several zigzag lines running down his face and body. They have excellent healing properties because their buildup is plant-based. Their nature also makes them a versatile fighter, so much so that they can attack fast, deliver deep blows, and heal pretty quickly, able to battle with the likes of Toge and others. In the end, Hanami was killed by Satoru Gojo in the Shibuya incident arc. Dagon. Dagon evolved from the fear of water-related disasters. He existed as a cursed womb until he evolved during the Shibuya incident. He takes the shape of a red-colored humanoid with an octopus head with black dots and white eyes. In his midsection, he has little wings that help him levitate. He uses a cursed technique that manifests a swarm of violent fishes to overwhelm his victims. He either employs the extension Death Swarm to conjure the fish monster called the Shikigami to attack his victim. He is also able to conjure large volumes of water to defeat his opponent. He can communicate in human language and insists that cursed spirits have names. Dagon has a thick, durable buildup, so much so that it is difficult to cause him harm. He is eventually killed by Toji Fushiguro. Disease-cursed spirits. These cursed spirits were formed from humans' fear of diseases and epidemics. Notable examples are the Kogai and smallpox deity. They are formed when widespread disease arouses collective fear. Kogai. This Grade 2 cursed spirit was born from humanity's hatred for the locust plague. His buildup is a large two-legged humanoid with several arms in the shape of a grasshopper. He stands with 2 legs and the other limbs serve as arms. His strength isn't formidable, but it is still something that calls attention in Jujutsu Kaisen. He has the ability to move really fast and bite everything in his way in a flash, thanks to his powerful legs and jaws that can bite through metal. He can also spit out disastrous amounts of black mucus, like the original grasshopper did during the grasshopper plague. He fell to his demise in the hands of Yuji because he was not a sensitive spirit. He let his guard down and overshared his position with Yuji, leading to intense exorcism that he couldn't fend off. Smallpox deity. This is a special grade cursed spirit who was summoned by Pseudo-Geto using cursed spirit manipulation, which is a technique used by Suguru-Geto to control the minds of bodies he exorcises and then possesses. The name Smallpox deity is not the accurate name, as the spirit is actually called Smallpox Hag. The Smallpox deity has 2 abilities, including the Gravestone technique and the Graveyard Domain. The Gravestone technique allows him to trap his opponent in a coffin, and then using his left fist lowers it into his right hand. By doing this, a giant gravestone is dropped on top of the coffin, dealing heavy damage and burying the coffin underground. Once the gravestone is placed, the disease curse begins to count down from 3. If the count reaches 1, the target will be infected with smallpox and die. He is summoned to fight Meimei and Uyui, but he dies in that battle. Cursed Womb. Death Painting. The spirits under this category are hybrids created from a mixture of human blood and a cursed spirit. There are 9 of them in number, with the first to the third being special grade cursed spirits. Their origin can be traced back to the Meiji era when a woman with a special genetic composition bore a child that was half human and half cursed spirit. She fell into the wicked hands of Noritoshi Kamo, the most evil sorcerer in history, who forced the woman and her child to become prisoners of his intellectual curiosity. The 9 cursed spirits were later acquired by Jujutsu High and were kept behind the Tengen barrier. However, Kenjaku and Mahito were able to free 3 of them, Choso, Iso, and Keichizu. The names of the other 6 were Shō-Oso, Noranso, Sanso, Tanso, Shoso, and Kotsuso. They were all eventually eaten by Yuji. Choso. He is the first of the 9 cursed womb siblings. He is also ranked among the special grade cursed spirits. He is freed from the prison in Jujutsu High, where he and his siblings are locked up because of their cursed energy. Once he is free, he goes ahead to align with his saviors Kenjaku and Mahito. Choso appears as a full human with normal human features. He has a unique mark across his face that runs through his nose bridge. As a cursed womb, he has special techniques that cannot be replicated by human and non-human sorcerers. Unlike most cursed spirits, Choso is not violent and aggressive towards humans, spirits, or sorcerers. In fact, he looks bored most of the time and rarely engages in conversations or fights. His techniques include blood manipulation, which he activates via the mark on his face. He can make the mark bleed at will. He is also super intelligent, which allows him to predict his opponent's attack ahead of time and defend himself. Choso also has impressive endurance strength. He can hold out for a long time in battle, even when he has been seriously injured, as he displayed in his fight against Kenjaku with Yuki. In the end, Choso was defeated by Sukuna. Eso. He is the second brother of the 9 cursed womb siblings. He also appears as a normal human, but compared to Choso, he is very muscular and wears tight pants with thin straps. 2 straps run vertically, and another runs horizontally across his chest, and he wears no shirt. He also sports a bow tie on his neck and white cuffs on both wrists. He wears a smug expression and piercings on his eyebrows. On his back is the grotesque shape of a bloody face with no nose and a lipless mouth filled with sharp teeth. He is only loyal to his brothers and is uninterested in fighting both sorcerers and non-sorcerers. Eso possesses an innate technique that allows him to shoot poisonous blood from the face on his back. He can also reshape the blood into wasp wings that help him with mobility. and attack with fine bloodlines from a far position. The poison in Esso's blood decomposes its victim's skin in floral patterns within minutes. He is eventually killed by Yuji during the battle with Nobara Kuchisake-Onna. This is the third brother of the 9 cursed womb siblings incarnated by Mahito. He is the apple of Esso and Choso's eyes. Unlike Choso and Esso, Kuchisake looks like a curse. He is the only one of his brothers that doesn't look like a human. Instead, he has claws, 2 mouths of different sizes with jagged teeth, and a hunchback. For eyes, he just has eye sockets with blood dripping from them. Blood also drips from both mouths. He only follows the orders of his brothers and is the weakest among them. He is able to perform rot techniques like Iso. He can manipulate his blood to spew poisonous blood on his victims, causing their skin to rot as soon as it comes in contact with his blood. Like Esso's blood, he is able to land a surprise attack on Yuji during the battle with Nobara Kuchisake. In the end, Kuchisake is killed by Nobara. Manipulated cursed spirit. These spirits were summoned during a fight between 2 powerhouses. Most of them were summoned and their cursed energy was manipulated by Suguru-Geto or Kenjaku. Some of them got to display their cursed techniques while others were merged with another cursed energy so their abilities couldn't stand out. Ganesha. This cursed energy was summoned by Kenjaku in Jujutsu Kaizen. Ganesha was summoned 2 times and for different reasons. The first time, Ganesha was summoned to prove the powers of curses to Gary K. Johnson, the Lieutenant General of the U.S. Army and the commander of its Joint Special Operations Unit. The second time Ganesha was summoned, it was during the fight between Yuki and Kenjaku at the Tombs of the Star Corridor. There, it was tasked to keep Yuki away because she was an obstacle to Kenjaku. It was eventually defeated by Yuki. Akuro o Otake. This is another cursed spirit controlled by Kenjaku in Jujutsu Kaisen. Akuro o was summoned once during the fight with Takaba at the Lake Gosho colony in the Shinjuku Showdown arc. It's also not clear what its abilities are. It appeared as a large humanoid with 3 horns on its head. It carried a large axe in its hands and rocked long, unkempt hair. It didn't last long after it was summoned because Takaba ran it over with a truck he manifested via his innate technique. Kururushi. This is the 3rd cursed spirit manipulated by Kenjaku during the culling game to participate as a player. It appears as its name suggests, a cockroach. It is a large, human-sized cockroach with human arms and legs. Unlike other manipulated cursed spirits, it is an intelligent cursed spirit with an ego and an insatiable appetite to devour humans. It has 3 cursed techniques and a cursed tool. Kururushi could produce a thick swarm of cockroaches that devoured everything in its way within seconds. The second technique was the ability to produce more cockroaches as it devoured more victims. The third technique is the large sacks filled with liquid that can turn its victims blind. The cursed tool it wields is called the Festering Life Sword. The knife has 6 holes from which eggs can be released into its victim's skin. In the end, it was killed by Yuta. Tamamo no Mei Incarnate. This imaginary vengeful spirit was manipulated by Suguru-Geto during the battle with Yuta Okatsu. Tamamo appeared like a humanoid with 4 eyes, no nose, and a mouth that had a line that ran after it like a puppet's. Their powers are not explicit, but she is a formidable force that Suguru kept for important battles like the one with Yuta. She ended up being defeated by Kazusanosuke. Other unclassified cursed spirits. These are cursed spirits without clear rankings, origins, and purpose. 3 of them are unnamed and the others include Finger Bearers, Flyheads, Yasuhachi Bridge Curse, Rainbow Dragon, Inventory Curse, and the Roppongi Curse. Yasuhachi Bridge Curse. This is a cursed spirit that guards the Yasuhachi Bridge and torments people who travel under the bridge. Tales went round that people who traveled under the bridge would go missing. The curse was eventually exorcised by Megumi, a first-year student of Jujutsu High. Finger Bearers. These are distinct cursed spirits that are formed as a result of devouring one of Sukuna's fingers. They begin as a cursed womb before they evolve into cursed spirits with special grade techniques. Because they originate from Sukuna, they have formidable cursed energy and strength. They are able to withstand fights for a long time and fire numerous blasts in seconds. However, they are no match for Sukuna himself. Rainbow Dragon. This cursed spirit was summoned and manipulated by Suguru-Geto's cursed spirit manipulation technique. It is a white dragon with sparkling yellow eyes. Suguru summoned Rainbow Dragon to protect a team of Jujutsu sorcerers who were on a mission to rescue Masato Kuroi, a sorcerer that had been kidnapped to Okinawa. In the end, it was killed by Toji during a face-off. It was sliced into 2 despite being the only manipulated spirit of Suguru with the toughest skin. The last but definitely not the least cursed spirit is the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna. He was the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer from over 1,000 years and the primary antagonist in Jujutsu Kaisen. In his past life, he was a human sorcerer and a very powerful one. He was unliked by his colleagues and after his death, he transformed into a cursed spirit with 20 fingers, each of them containing his power. He stayed inactive in Yuki's body until he transformed into Megumi Fushiguro. He appears as a large humanoid with 4 arms, a gaping mouth in his torso, 4 red eyes, and pink hair. He has 2 extra eyes that look in different angles on the side of his face. He is very muscular, and his body is covered in tattoos. Sukuna enjoyed killing people for the fun of it with no purpose at all. Sukuna is unmatched, so much so that Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen, admits that a fight between them would be difficult. Among his many abilities include the hand-to-hand combatant, immense strength and speed, and immense durability in combat. However, the mighty Sukuna is killed in the end by Yuji. And that's all Cursed Spirit in Jujutsu Kaisen summarized in minutes. Thanks for your time and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.